So everyone is well today. Oh, what beauty we have, what beauty we've beheld today in the music and even in the grieving. I think there is something really stunning about everyone that we've heard today, and our friends from Poland, and our wonderful translator, and all of the miles that those lovely women came to speak to us today. I think it's wonderful. I love this venue and thought I would say it. I think Michael has done a fabulous job putting this event together. If we could just applaud him for that. And yes, so my name is Gianna, and I am adopted. And I also have the gift of cerebral palsy, which I've already told you. But I was never supposed to hold up my head. And really the main difficulty right now with my cerebral palsy, which I intend to overcome somehow, is that my left leg is much shorter than my right. And my right side is very much normal to your legs. And then a balance issue. I have to take some medicine that increases my balance issues, and we already have balance issues when you're born with cerebral palsy, so it's a little bit of a drag. But I intend to overcome those things somehow, and I'm excited because I went snorkeling last weekend for the first time in my life, and I didn't know if I was able to swim or not. My arms are very, very strong. My upper body is very strong because when you do fall, which I fall quite gracefully and infrequently, but when I do fall, it's interesting, and you hold up all of your body weight with your arms. Of course, you catch yourself. And so I'm very strong, and so that helped me in the water. And they told me that I do swim quite well. And I floated for the first time in my life. And this is significant in my life at this juncture because I am God's girl, and He is my dad. He's my father, and He's been speaking to me very clearly about how I am to learn to let go. And when you have a history like mine, letting go is not something you do. You hang on, and you don't give up, and you just don't let go. And I'll get to my birth in a second. But we were doing a lot of writing about this on my Facebook page, which is an interesting page. To me, a lot of times, Facebook is for people who have absolutely no courage in real life, trying to manufacture it on a website. I am appalled at some of the things that people say on Facebook that they would never, ever say in real life. So hopefully those people will grow in courage in real life and say these things to other people's faces rather than hiding behind computer screens. But anyway, that's a side note, a tangent. Anyway, I was writing and we were talking about floating for a number of weeks, and I said, what does that feel like? I don't know what that is. And then when I went snorkeling, I then floated, and I now feel what floating is like. This is significant because to me, that is what letting go feels like. And I'm extremely sensory. Oh, my senses are I'm just very sensory. And so oftentimes I have to learn through my senses and not just my mind. And that was the best feeling. And that to me represented trust. And now I'm new, I'm different. Even if I struggle in some of the same ways to trust God, I at least know what letting go feels like. And that is lovely. And so I am adopted, as I've said. I had a very dysfunctional adoption, although I'm a huge adoption fan and advocate. I had a difficult one. It does not define me. And my biological parents were 17. So, just kids. And my biological mother was 7.5 months pregnant when she went to Planned Parenthood in Southern California and had something called a saline abortion. Actually, they referred her out, but she had a saline abortion, which I don't believe they're performing anymore. If they are, someone can correct me, but I don't believe they are because they were having so many survivors. And I happened to escape before they added a drug to stop the heartbeat. So I was born April 6th, 1977, in an abortion clinic in Los Angeles. My medical records state on them, born during saline abortion. My birth certificate is signed by an abortionist. I find that hilarious. Maybe most people do not, but I do, because I think that we're trying to emasculate Jesus the way we emasculate our men in this culture. And we are just trying to make Jesus just more and more feminine every day, rather than the warrior side that he also represents. He vanquishes every enemy. And every man, every great and wonderful and kind man is made in his image, made to defend, made to protect, made to provide. And so I believe that when the Lord had this punk who was trying to take me out a few hours before, make him acknowledge my life. That was such a awesome warrior father type thing to do. Yeah, buddy, you're trying to take her out? Sign here. Enjoy that. Feel free not to laugh, but I just feel so cared for by a living God. And who knows who I'm even talking to today? I mean, the staff may not believe in Jesus. They may think I've lost my mind. I don't really care. I'm really excited to proclaim the truth to complete strangers and let someone, even if it's just one person, know that they can come from being sad and sort of dead inside to life, if only they will call in the name of Jesus. That is what I live for and who I live for, even though I'm a spunky little thing, and Jesus never said we couldn't be spunky. And for that I am glad. However, at the same time that I rejoice that the Lord had the abortionist sign my birth certificate, I also believe his heart was breaking for all parties involved. Me, my biological parents, and the doctor. I hold no ill will towards any of them. And so I do want to make that clear. I couldn't be this full of joy and have that much rage. Plus, I have a great therapist. I've gone to therapy 5 years. Glory, hallelujah. I went to therapy instead of dating for 5 years and spared many men my issues. So, and I had many. So, anyway, I have no problem telling people I love my therapist. I have no problem telling people that I was just recently diagnosed with a severe case of attention deficit disorder, which I then looked at the doctor and said, "Doctor, this means I am absolutely brilliant." And he then agreed. So I then since learned that people that have this are completely generally ashamed of it and never speak a word about it. So of course I would be one that would be writing all about it, talking about it, proclaiming it everywhere. And I only do because I was so misunderstood my entire life. Why does she operate that way? Why doesn't she talk in sequential order, A, B, C? I'm not that kind of speech giver. I just speak from the heart, and my heart is just what it is, not rehearsed in any way. And I'm at ease with that. So anyway, if you wonder why I sort of go here and there and here and there, just know we'll get to the end. We really will. And it will be before 2 o'clock, before the next person comes up. Oh man, I'm not supposed to say I owe my friend 10 cents every time I say or like. Oh. Anyway, so the abortionist was not on duty the moment that I came into the world. Had he been there, he would have ended my life with strangulation, suffocation, or leaving me there to die, which was considered perfectly legal up until August the 5th, 2002, when my extraordinary President Bush signed into law the Born Alive Infants Protection Act. This, in essence, states that a child that survives an abortion ought to receive proper medical care. I find it appalling that we even have to construct such a law. That President Obama, in contrast to President Bush, voted 4 times against the same legislation in the state of Illinois, saying that a decision like that, whether or not to give a child that survives an abortion proper medical care, is a decision between a woman and her doctor. And so he's not a big fan, which really I consider respectfully quite an honor. I really, really do. And one of my favorite things to do is something that you're told you incessantly that you are not supposed to do, and that is mix religion and politics. The reason that I love to do it is because I don't believe our founders were afraid to. I believe that we are where we are because of one word: cowardice. I believe that a people vote according to the condition of their heart. If their heart is hard toward God, they will vote that way. We want the freedom that only God provides without the God himself. And yet every day in America, we believe that we're entitled to more and more and more without any price. We want everything free. You owe me is the mindset of the day increasingly. And yet, that mindset is not what this country was founded upon. And our founders were not cowards. I don't really have parents, and so I've attached myself to one of my favorite couples in our history, John and Abigail Adams. They knew what it was like to sacrifice, and I am free in part because of them. So I live my life for Jesus, and then I live my life to show John and Abigail from glory that their sacrifice for me was not in vain, and that I won't spend my life whining about things that really are so small. I want to honor what they did for me. But I fear for our country at the moment because I don't believe we understand what freedom costs, and I don't think we care. And if we forget how to take personal responsibility, that will develop into individual tyranny, and then that will become cultural tyranny. Have you ever seen someone happy who's given everything for nothing? No, they're actually some of the angriest people I have ever met. Because it goes against the principles of God written on our heart. If you want free health care, you're looking at a girl who'll help pay for it for you. I am one of the most vulnerable among us in the culture. The most vulnerable will pay for free health care. As soon as a government official decides I cost too much money,